I remember a commencement exercise like this 20 years ago. It was Super Bowl Sunday, January 20th, 1980. Our commencement speaker that day was a man named Harry Philo, a very successful trial lawyer from Detroit. He was sitting up here on the stage next to me, and we were both watching the graduates crossing the stage and receiving their sheepskins, when he leaned over and he pointed to a name in the program, and he whispered, "Isn't that Harry Gair's son?" I said, "I don't know. Who's Harry Gair?" And Philo gives me a scowl and he says, "Where have you been all your life? Harry Gair just happens to be the most famous trial lawyer in New York." A few minutes later, the dean announced the name Anthony H. Gair, cum laude. And this rather ordinary-looking young fellow walks across the stage and receives his diploma. Philo gives me an elbow in the ribs and says, "Keep an eye on that guy. He's going places." After the ceremony, I introduced Harry Philo to Tony Gair and Tony's mother, Harriet Gair, who was also a lawyer and a judge in Putnam Valley, New York. It turned out that Harry Philo and Tony Gair had a lot in common. Philo was a self-made man, a union organizer who went to law school part-time and built a successful law practice from scratch. What did he have in common with the son of New York's most famous trial lawyer? Well, it surprised Harry Philo and me to learn that before he came to law school, Tony Gair had worked as a horse trainer, a mechanic, and a cab driver. In spite of his parents' success and prominence, Tony wanted to be a self-made man. He wanted to travel his own path, carve out his own niche in the legal profession. So he made up a list of law schools, most of which he never heard of, and began to check them out. When he came to Thomas Cooley and he discovered our reputation as a tough, demanding professional program, he decided this is what he wanted. And so this graduate of Long Island University, who had spent 5 years after college doing various kinds of work and who seemed to be just drifting along without a particular goal, enrolled at Thomas Cooley Law School in 1976 and immediately became fully immersed in the Cooley experience. I think Tony would tell you that he enjoyed law school. It grabbed him, it challenged him, it made him think, and it gave him the chance to hone his forensic skills in moot court competitions. What has happened to Tony Gair in the 20 years since he walked across this stage is nothing short of phenomenal. And surely it is a tribute to him and to the work ethic he learned from his mother and to the inspiration he took from his father's distinguished career. Tony Gair is now a successful trial lawyer in his own right. After leaving Cooley, he earned a master's degree from New York University in 1985, and he has since found time to teach in the continuing legal education program at Fordham University School of Law. I have to say that Tony Gair's professional career is a model of what we at Cooley like to call practical scholarship in the law. In law school, he won book awards in criminal procedure and constitutional law. Since graduation, he has authored literally dozens of articles on various aspects of law and litigation. Here's just a few examples. Is it necessarily malpractice? Failure to revise shunt in hydrocephalus patient, published in the Medical Malpractice Law and Strategy. New Frontier in Products Liability, published in the New York Law Journal. Obtaining surveillance films in personal injury cases, published in Trial Lawyers Quarterly. Here's a busy trial lawyer who takes the time, somehow finds the time, to write practical, useful articles on various legal publications, drawing on his own experience and research in the real world of personal injury litigation. Culpable conduct, comparable fault issues as applicable to a product's liability case. Preparing plaintiff's expert in the post-Cuomo era. He writes the kind of legal articles that deal with the nitty-gritty of law practice. Our speaker this afternoon is a member of the Association of the Bar of the City of New York, the Bronx County, Westchester County, New York State and American Bar Associations, the New York County Lawyers Association, the New York State Trial Lawyers Association, the Association of Trial Lawyers of America, the American Board of Trial Advocates, and the Roscoe Pound Foundation. Tony Gair has gained a great deal from his education in the law, and he has built a practice and earned a reputation that rivals the distinguished career of his father, and he is now a full member of Gair, Conason, Stigman, and Makoff. But if Tony Gair has taken much from the law, he has also given a great deal back to his profession. He has, since 1992, served as a member of the board of directors of the Thomas M. Cooley Law School. He's been a generous benefactor of the law school and has sent a number of students to us over the years, including, as a matter of fact, his own son, Danny, who is now practicing with his father as the third generation of this distinguished New York legal dynasty. Tony, his wife Terry, and his mother Harriet Gair have been loyal and enthusiastic supporters of Thomas Cooley Law School for more than 2 decades. My family and I have been blessed by the warmth of their personal friendship. And that's why it is such a special honor and a pleasure for me to present him to you this afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a rousing Cooley welcome to our distinguished guest speaker, a bigger-than-life New York trial lawyer, my good friend and colleague, Anthony H. Gair.